Oh yeah, it's Yammer and the Hammer time. That's better.
Welcome to Yammer and the Hammer. This is a review on our latest trip to Portugal. Now, in my previous video, I said I wasn't going to do this until the very end, after I went through all of our day trips and provided some really cool video footage and photographs and some history. But there's something I really need to talk about. So first of all, let's do a review on Portugal itself. And then there's something you really need to know. This is why I've actually bumped this up. Now, if you're looking for a review on Portugal that includes beaches and nightlife and cafes and all that kind of stuff, food, there's plenty of reviews out there for that. That is not what this review is. This review is based upon what we like to do. And that is basically grab a car and drive, get into the country and talk to locals, see unique sites and places. That's what we like to do. That's what this review is on. Now, everything that we did, it was a challenge and nothing to do with Portugal. We had issues with the car. We had issues with the hotel. We had issues with absolutely everything. It was challenging, probably the most stressful trip that we've been on. But the bottom line is we got to do everything we set out to do. As a challenge, but we did it. And some of the stuff we saw was fantastic. We saw Roman ruins, Moorish ruins. We saw churches. We saw castles. We saw cliffs. We saw monoliths like that of Stonehenge, all in Portugal. The history is amazing. The history goes back thousands of years, whereas here in North America, you know, it's a couple of hundred years is kind of our history here. Over there, it's amazing. Absolutely loved it. For us, the food that we did was great. We did a lot of grocery stores, did our own stuff. We did some restaurants. So everything we did was really good. And the weather did not cooperate as well. The other thing that kind of really stood out for us is that we went in the shoulder season. This is supposed to be a season where there's not a lot of tourists. But I can tell you, it was really busy. And that's a lot of the tips that you'll see in their upcoming video series. I was actually shocked at how many people were there. I get it, I'm one of those tourists, but it's like, please, people, don't you work? Like, where are all these people coming from? I'd hate to see what this place looks like. We went in May on a weekday. What would it be like mid-July on a weekend? Absolutely insane. So when we were in the countryside, it was great. We got to the cities. We were in Portimao, Evora, Sintra, just outside of Lisbon. When we got into the main cities, I found there's only one word that kept coming back to me, is chaotic. There's people everywhere. The streets are narrow, lots of roundabouts. You're driving, it can be quite stressful. But I did find it chaotic. We actually learned more about Portugal in a little tiny village of 70 that we stayed in. That was fantastic. So that to me was a telling sign that we prefer outside of the main cities. That's where we belong. It was great there. Too bad we had some issues with the car, but that can happen anywhere. So everything that happened wasn't an issue of Portugal itself. Now, going to Portugal, everybody's going to have a different experience. We had an experience. Do we need to go back? No. And why I say that is that we saw half the country. Would there be more things to see? Probably, but we saw our fill of castles, ruins, that kind of stuff. We saw what we needed to see. There are a lot of places in the world to explore, but I think we got a good overall perspective of Portugal, which was great. Do we need to go back? Probably not. But the potential was there. As you noticed, I said was. And this is where I need to get to telling you something that you really need to know. And this was the final nail in the coffin for us. Originally, I had said to you in my previous video that we didn't get biometrics, at least on the way in. On the way out was a different story. So we get to the airport 3 hours in advance. We go to Air Canada, we check our bags in, but she said to us, you might want to get to the passport control soon because there's a lineup. Okay, so we're not sure what this is just yet. So we go to security, we do the x-ray, then passport, yada, yada, yada. There's a bit of a lineup, so I figured that was it. That wasn't too bad. And so we exited the duty-free shop and saw this massive lineup. It was huge. But we looked to the right, and there's our gates off to the right, and then the lineup looked like it was going to the left. So, okay, this shouldn't be too bad. Let's just go to our gates. So we started walking, and people are giving us a funny look. And finally, after about 2 minutes of walking, my wife asked somebody in line, "What's this line for?" Passport control. Well, for those gates or these gates? All gates. You're kidding me. So we had to turn around and walk back to where we started. Now, they should have actually had somebody there directing people coming out of the duty-free shop as to which way to go. Everybody coming out went in the wrong direction. So we continued walking around corner after corner after corner. Finally, we get to the end of our lineup, and it's like, it was at least 7 minutes of walking. I swear to God, we were on the opposite side of the airport. And we said to a guy there, who's working in the airport, "How long will this line take?" "Oh, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe an hour." "Oh, great." We have no idea. So we're shuffling along. A couple in front of us, actually no, a couple behind us. They were an elderly couple going to England, and they were both diabetic. They had to keep spelling each other off so they could go sit down to make this lineup. It was absolutely ridiculous. In lineup, what do we get? "Oh, Air Canada's now boarding." "Oh, no, we're not. We're in lineup. We're not boarding." And I'm actually at this point thinking, we're not making our flight. I don't know if they're going to hold the flight until everybody that's been checked in is on the plane. I don't know this. I've never done this before. This is why I'm relaying this to you. So eventually we get to the end of this lineup, the single lineup. And then it turns into like an amusement park, you know, the zigzag lineup like this. It's like, oh my God, we're moving. And then we get up to an area where they've got all these electronic passport things not being used. Security comes over just right in front of us and opens up one of the stanchions and goes, "Okay, everybody, come on, let's use the machines much faster, much faster." Why they opened them up right then, I have no idea. Probably because a lot of people are going to miss their flight. Biometric time, that's where they, you know, scan your face, take a picture, fingerprints, the whole bit. Okay, so that's done. But guess what? We get to bypass like 200 people now. We're scoot past that. We're not running, but we're hustling down the hallway. We get to escalators, go down, only to be in another lineup. Now, this lineup was for the shuttle to get to the plane, which is about another 10-minute drive. But what's happening at this point is that we got in lineup. People are still coming down the escalator, and the lineup's now going up the stairs. Now, people coming down the escalator now have to get to the bottom, carry their luggage back up because it's the only escalator going down. They have to carry the luggage back up to get in line up on the stairs. They eventually shut the escalators down because this was absolutely stupid. Bottom line is we made our flight. But we were there 3 hours in advance, and here is my advice to you. Because you don't know if you're going to get biometrics on the way in, on the way out, or both. They may have improved it by the time you take a trip, or maybe it's gotten worse. Portugal has had since January to fix this issue, and they have not fixed it yet. So better be safe than sorry. Get there 4 hours in advance. We did not sit down once to get to that plane. We were in lineup the entire time between baggage check-in, the security check-in, and passport control. So do yourself a favor, get there 4 hours in advance because you just don't know what you're getting into. So that was the final nail in the coffin. We won't be going back to Portugal anytime soon. Everybody's experience is different. Now, our experience will be different from yours and different for somebody else looking for nightlife and party time. We prefer the more backcountry route. We prefer less crowds and lots of hiking. This is what we like to do. I'm so glad we did it. We saw everything we needed to see, so we'll move on. But my videos are simply to relate our experience so that you might learn from us and have a better experience for yourself. So, I appreciate you watching this to the end. Have yourself a great day, and until we meet again in my other videos, Scooby-Doo-wah.